What's up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you're checking out Podcasting Business School. This is the show where I teach podcasters how to love their show like a hobby and build it like a business. You are here for a podcast audit session, the Doodle Pro podcast with my friend Corinne. I'm very excited about this. I am a dog lover. I was telling Corinne I was just playing with a doodle this weekend. And they're great dogs. So I'm very interested with her show and how she's helping people. So Corinne, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you for having me, Adam. I'm a huge fan, and I credit your podcast with a lot of the techniques that I use. Thank you.
All right. We're off to a good start then. So showering me with praise is always a great start.
This is fabulous.
I love this episode. So let's look 6 months down the road. All right. The Doodle Pro is cooking. Things have really ramped up. It's going, according to plan as far as like your goals and dreams and all that. So what would that look like as far as your downloads, monetization, audience engagement? Paint that picture, 6 months of, a success roadmap for the Doodle Pro podcast.
This is a part I struggle with because I don't really know benchmarks that are realistic or aspirational. Does that make sense?
But like, how would it feel? Like what?
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to nail down how to work with sponsors. I've had some reach out and ask for a rate sheet and stuff, and I don't even know where to begin. I would love to see my audience growing and it translate into helping more people in the course I'm launching for Doodle parents. So, but I would love to just see that work together really nicely.
Yeah.
Where they are able to learn for free through the podcast. And if they want to dig in a little more and get even more resources and help, that they know where to find me.
Yeah. Okay. This is very doable. This is very doodleable. The word doodle is just fun to say. I'm like,
it is.
It's a great name. So I think you could nail both these, and it's nice. Like, I don't do sponsorships on my show just because honestly, I've done that before and it got to be kind of a pain in the rear end. I was like, I can make more money by selling my own programs, products, and services, but I'm not anti-sponsors at all. And
that might be the choice I make too after exploring it. Yeah.
You may be like, man, these sponsors drive me nuts. But like, you're in a very niche space, and niche spaces command higher prices, in my opinion. And a lot of people think I got to have this random broad audience for big sponsor money. And I say, no, it's actually gonna be easier because your sponsors know exactly who they're talking to, like exactly. And if they want to get in front, like I have a Labrador, okay, and they tend to have joint issues and they tend to have skin issues. So if somebody has a product that helps dogs with bad joints or skin issues, and I had a show called the Labrador Pro, like they probably would be interested in sponsorship because they like, oh, labs are a wheelhouse. So you think about doodles and maybe something like that exists. I don't know. And like that's
Brushes is one that reached out. Yeah.
Yes. So that is very logical. And when it comes to like a rate sheet and all that, like there's the traditional CPM model, which is awful, which is for every, CPM is cost per mil. Mil means 1,000 in whatever language, Latin or Greek or whatever. I don't even know. I'm not smart enough. And it's $25. So for every 1,000, if somebody sponsors an episode and you get 1,000 downloads, they'll pay you $25, which isn't great. It's nothing. And especially for that niche. So what when I'm I don't do a ton of sponsorship consultation, but I've done my fair share.
Yeah.
And we usually try to come up with like, what does a $500 to a $1,000 sponsorship package look like? So we start with the price that's worth it for you. Because this $25 crap, that's like, this is not worth my time. So if someone's going to pay you $500 to $1,000, what kind of an attractive package can we put together for them? So things to consider would be obviously the host read ads. That's going to, how many host read ads would you be willing to do for that price point? Usually we end up in that 4 to 6 range. And that's, an attractive thing for people that are wanting to kind of niche down into your subset there. But then we can also do email marketing shout outs. So maybe they get to sponsor one of your weekly newsletters with a nice little banner ad or something like that. And then maybe you do an Instagram reel where you collaborate on an Instagram reel with their brand, or do a customized Instagram story. And that way it's not just the straight podcast CPM. It's like this whole brand integration package. So
nice.
I would just sit and think, and maybe, with a lot of my clients, I just had my buddy Nate, talk through this a couple months back. I was like, let's do an intro package and then kind of a longer term commitment package. So maybe the initial one is $500 and you get a lot of stuff, and then go, hey, if you'd like the full immersion package, then it's a 3-month commitment. It's this price. It's, $3,000 or whatever. And you're going to get all these ad reads and all these other things. And you're a real brand partner for us. And you lock in that spot. Or I consulted with one of my podcast launch clients. Shout out to Two Crazy Ketos in the ketogenic diet space. They are going to have 3 host read ads per episode, but each one's going to be 60 seconds, but they have the option to be like the sponsor takeover, and you get all 3 spots instead of just one of the 3. So there's different options we can do for okay. And that makes it easier on you. So you're not chasing down 3 people. You're chasing down one person that wants all 3 spots. And then with something that you can add in there as, kind of a VIP package or whatever. I got this idea from my friend Allison Melody, who's great with sponsors. I got some episodes. I have her on the show once a year, at least, to talk about sponsorships. She's brilliant with it. Yeah. But it's an upgraded VIP sponsorship where you do an interview with them and you break down, maybe talk to them for 30 minutes, but you look at it as 10 3-minute interviews, and you take that 3-minute interview and that's the ad on the show. And they're explaining something about their brand, or a little bit about the background, or their, testimonials about their product or whatever. And so that is an ad that'll work, and it's not as easily skipped when people get to it.
Tap the 30-second and then
exactly. So I would look at unique options like that, and that way they can't lump you into the old CPM, which is just it's terrible. And that way you're bringing something different, and you're like, hey, you want to get in front of Doodle owners? Are there other options than golden doodles, or is that what that is?
So basically whatever you got can mix with a poodle, and then you got a doodle. And you're right, it is fun to say. It is fun to say. Right now I'm doing some bonus episodes, which I'm glad I called them bonus episodes, because doing 2 a week right now was pretty heavy for the schedule, as I still produce and everything on my own. But I'm highlighting the top 5 right now. So Australian Shepherds, that's Aussie Doodle, Bernadette, but each of those are like a micro niche, right? And so that each of them kind of blow up in their own realms.
Yeah. Wow. And super interesting. And so I feel like we've got some pretty decent sponsorship ideas there. And again, I would try to land the first option, the entry, like the gateway package, in that 500 to 1,000 range. And when you talk to these people, some of them, most of them are going to realize the power of podcasting, but the best comparison you can make is compare it to radio advertising and go, I'm sure you've done some radio ads before, because it's astronomical pricing. Even like stupid local, like ads are, it's like $3,000, $5,000, and they're just randomly played a certain amount of times on the radio again, and who knows who hears it, and then they're gone. Right. And you go, compare that to my $1,000 package on my podcast. Doodle owners will find me because of my SEO. They will binge listen, so that everybody that starts binge listening to my show, your ad is there forever. It's locked in. It's always there. You're paying $1,000 for forever. And people will keep finding you and finding you and finding you. And same thing with your Instagram feed. And same thing, like you're getting all these exposure points, and it's there. It doesn't get taken down. So that usually, and especially if they bring up CPM, like here's the real deal, folks. Like that's, this is evergreen marketing,
Right.
where that doesn't exist in radio or print ads. So does that make sense?
That makes great sense. And I could say that my SEO, I modeled after one of your SEO episodes, and that definitely worked.
Good. All right.
So I'm being found more, and certain episodes are being found more.
Good. That's the whole goal of my show. So
Yeah.
outstanding. All right. Let's talk about selling this course. All right. Because I think, again, you can have both at the same time. Like you could be having sponsorship conversations at the same time as, building your new client roster with this course. And obviously for me, one of the fastest way to do that is these coaching style episodes, these like consultant style episodes. And have you dabbled in that yet, as far as having somebody that listens to the show coming on yet and kind of asking you doodle questions?
It's a goal of mine. I am launching the course in January. So closer to November, December, I was going to get into those. I love highlighting like the world-renowned experts in training on my show. And a lot of them were able to sell a lot of books after coming on my podcast. So then I booked out really far.
Yeah. Okay. So like when it comes to course sales, programs and services, we want to make sure you've got that expert positioning going. So even doing like a little workshop week where there's just a week of just you and your audience and no guests, you pick a topic and that your audience is like obsessed with.
Yeah.
And you just jam out and do 5 episodes, one a day, like a little 10-minute tip episode on that topic for you. And I would do that the week that your enrollment opens or the week before. But I just want expert. That way people are seeing you as like, okay, this is the woman I want to learn from about this. Like she interviews experts that are kind of niche subject experts, but like, this is my coach. This is my person. So doing that, and then starting to fold in some coaching consulting style episodes where like, so my game plan behind what we do here, this can't be open podcast and Q&A because then it could be too random.
Right.
And so what I narrow it down into 3 categories that we tend to focus on. And today the conversation vein we've gone down is with monetization, but usually it's monetization, audience engagement, or download growth. Or we'll dabble in all 3 sometimes, but I prefer to go deep instead of wide. So for your brand, you want to think like, what are the 1, 2, or 3 areas that your listeners are just obsessed with? And, maybe it's health, behavior, and something. I don't know. You know your audience better than me.
I'd say training pain points.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we get in there and we go, okay, what is the biggest training pain point that you're dealing with right now? Have them fill out some information so you know what you're walking into. You got some ideas, and then boom, you go and execute and you're delivering. And all of a sudden, huge expert positioning, and people are going, wow, how do I get more of that? And then you sponsor that episode with your course information. And now we make that top of mind, and a certain percentage of those people will convert right into your course. They'll be like, wow, that's the appetizer. What's this going to look like? Like this whole course where I get X amount of videos and, actual training with everything you've put together. So I think, I would ramp those up and start folding those into the mix. Honestly, the more of those you have out before you open enrollment, the better. Yeah. Because the expert positioning does not get any better. Like my business really took off after I had done a weekly podcast audit release for 6 months. And so we're talking 20 plus podcast audits out there, huge, like hockey stick spike up with conversions. Like my conversions went to me begging people to be my clients to like whatever percentage that is, negative, whatever, to like 80% plus. But it's like the exposure points. We hear about that a lot in marketing. You need so many exposure points, but imagine somebody that's listened to me coach somebody 20 plus times. Right. And then we have a conversation. They are kind of they're not asking, should I hire Adam? They're like, when should we start?
Mm-hmm.
More likely. So that, I think that's going to really position you well. So I would look at, maybe you even do a workshop week like that, where you do 5 coaching style episodes in one
I think
week
it's great.
and lead right up into your open card, open enrollment. And then during, do a couple, you could do whatever you want. Like, I don't think it's ever a bad thing to release content like what we're doing here today. Like, it's just going to be
Mm-hmm.
your best stuff, you showing it off for your ideal listeners that have the exact same questions as that person is asking you. Does that make sense?
It totally does.
Cool. So
I was interested in telling you where I'm at.
Okay.
And you telling me, so you mentioned like goals. I would like to grow the download numbers and stuff, but I don't really know what to set my goals at because I'm so new in the game.
Yeah.
I have been out for 9 weeks. I usually do weekly episodes, but for the past 2 weeks, I did twice a week. Last week, I did a little over 1,000 downloads in that 1 week. And in the 9 weeks, I'm at 6,500.
Nice.
They're averaging between 300 and 900. It's still early. Like, not all of them have been out a full month. But with that in mind, I don't know what I should set goals at.
Okay, so you're getting great growth already. Like, you're ahead of the curve. So and you're in a great niche, and it sounds like you're nailing some SEO. So, and your name is perfect for it's really good. Like, rarely on a podcast audit, I'm like, your name's perfect. Don't change it. Don't even think about changing it. So
I had a much more vague business name, before. This is 2.0.
Yeah. Well, this is working for you. Now the first benchmark goal is hitting 125 downloads at the 30-day mark per episode. So if you release an episode today, the first benchmark I set for people is getting to 125 30 days from today, which you already are. So you're nailing that
today with an episode released today.
Yeah. So you're nailing that.
Okay.
You're doing it in 1 day instead of 30 days. So, but when you do that in 30 days, you're in the top 50% of all podcasts that exist. So that's like, you're already way past that. The next benchmark, which sounds like you're knocking on the door of, is 1,000 downloads at the 30-day mark per episode. So if you release an episode today, 30 days from today, it's at 1,000 or more. That's top 20%. All right. Okay. So that is the next benchmark that I think you should strive to achieve. And like, you're, a couple of months into this, 2-3 months into this, and you could look 6 months down the road, you could legit be there where,
awesome.
Especially, I think when you do the coaching and consulting style episodes, you're going to start building super fans. Super fans tell other people, because this, like, people that have doodles and dog owners and dog lovers, they network with other dog owners and dog lovers, and they're going, oh, you got to listen to this. I went on this show. And then all of a sudden, they're in the doodle owners of, Atlanta Facebook group, and they're sharing the thing. And all of a sudden it's everywhere.
10,000 people in each group.
Yes. So and that's something that I would suggest. Like, if you have these, doodle owners on your show, go, hey, are you a member of any Facebook groups, or like, where do you hang out? And would you be willing to share this, once it's out, and get them a nice little, video graphic or something where they're on the show, and maybe you make it a thing. Okay. Ideas are flowing now. Look out, Corinne. Okay. So what I would do, like, dog owners love highlighting their dog. So I would have them get their dog up there and do a screenshot of the dog on screen with you, or have, the dog being introduced or whatever, make that a part of the clip. Maybe you've got kind of like a wall of fame thing going on where you get a picture and you stick it in your background, like what I've got with my, my mixed tile things, or, or even on your website, like the wall of fame page on your website, all the doodles that have been guests on your show and
featured
that also brought their owners with them. Like that's, and so you got like Sparky and Coco and whatever. And then it's like their owner is also there with them. So I would do something like that, because they'll share that. Like,
that's super cool.
People love doing that. So getting them to share out amongst other people like them, that's going to grow your legend quicker than anything, because the number one way that people discover podcasts still is through referral. So, even more than SEO, even more than ads and things like that. So getting other people, we got to take advantage of what we've got with each individual niche. And you've got dog owners, and
Yeah.
we love our dogs. We love sharing
Yes.
our dogs. We love experiencing other dog owners and their stories, and getting our dogs together and the whole thing. So I think just looking at ways like, how do we do this? And maybe even you host something like I do with my Pod Pal Zoom parties. And it's like you invite all the doodles and they can bring their owners with them, and you do like an on-screen, dog fest thing. And who knows you probably won't be able to make it last very long, like 15 minutes or whatever, a quick training tip or something like that.
Right.
But you get like all these listeners of your show, them and their doodle get to be a part of your show. And you got everybody on screen with their dogs. I think that would be super cool. So yeah, you just have to bring treats for everybody, So I idea dumped on you there. Anything really hitting home? Anything feeling pretty good about any of that?
I love like the Doodle Spotlight, and my dog was chosen to be featured on the Doodle Pro podcast kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about even that as like a little segment? It doesn't raise my authority, but a little segment of even each episode, because now I'm idea dumping on you. Each episode has a spotlight of a doodle where a doodle mom or dad come on and say something about their doodle, and we include the picture.
Yes. Just like what I'm doing with my my episodes coming out now. I've got listeners coming, submitting audio clips going, this is my favorite episode of Podcasting Business School, episode blah, 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 because da, 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 da. And it's like, this is so-and-so from the blah, blah, blah podcast. So you get to shout out your show as well. So you could easily set up like a SpeakPipe link and submit your doodle for Doodle of the Week on the Doodle Pro podcast. And it's super easy. They just click, they can do it on their phone. They just submit the audio, and it's not like a one try thing. They could re-record it if they feel like, oh, I sounded stupid or whatever, and mention their dog, and then maybe they say what their favorite episode of your show is, and then that dog becomes the featured the Doodle Spotlight, and you shout them out on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah,
it's community building, Corinne, and that's like you build community and you make people and their dogs a part of your show. They're going to love you for it. Like because
I mean, it says I'm the pro, but the show isn't about me. It is about their doodles. And so I love that.
Yeah. So I think anytime we can pull audience into the show, make them a part of the content creation, it's always a win. So I love that idea, and they'll be listening like, oh, it's our episode. Sparkles was the doodle of the day. The doodle of the day.
I love it. I could throw a little Canva, template that you could share.
Yeah. So I like that a lot. And I think that people, maybe, you have a Canva template they submit an image, and then boom, and you put that on the gram, they're sharing it out, or wherever you hang out. Yeah. I think this is a win for you. So
awesome. That sounds doable too, as I'm doing it all myself, which I have to give you kudos again, Adam. He has not paid me for any of this, but you started mentioning Descript, and I was like, what is this? Because I was outsourcing to Fiverr all of my editing, and Descript was a game changer.
Easy.
Like, it just made it possible at home.
Good.
That I could go through and do it on my own.
Good. Saving you some money. Good.
Yes. Yes.
We love that around here on Podcasting Business School. All right. Yes. So I gave you a lot of stuff. I feel like we need to get pinpoint on this. What's the first domino that you really want to focus on? Like, what's something that you can commit to doing sooner than later, like next 24, 48 hours, like an action step on one of the ideas, not all of them, not like fixing, the whole thing, but just like, what's an action step that you can commit to taking here in the next 24, 48 hours on something that we discussed today?
I think Doodle of the Week is I'm here, Adam. Sorry. You could just script that right out, right?
The Doodle of the Week.
Yes, Doodle of the Week I think is the winner because it's actionable, bite size. I can roll that out
Yeah.
and people can like apply for it, and I can batch it.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it. I can't wait to
Okay,
see it.
good.
So, all right, Corinne, let's shout out your brand. Where do people want to go if they want to submit for the Doodle of the Week? I'm sure it'll be on your website or wherever. So, where do they find you on social? Where do they find you on your website?
My website is thedoodlepro.com, and you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at the Doodle Pro. And you can submit your doodle to be Doodle of the Week, which I will have developed by the time this airs at thedoodlepro.com/Doodle of the Week.
Outstanding. All right, Pod Pals. If you want to be just like my good Pod Pal here, Corinne, and become a podcast audit participant, go to the website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, get signed up, and come on the show. So, with that, I will send you all out into the world wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Adam.